Our podcast today was sponsored by Fire Facilities. This Made in America company is dedicated to constructing top quality custom training structures to meet your needs. Make your training count with all steel structures that are made to last. Visit firefacilities.com for more details. As always, today's podcast is sponsored by Fire Facilities, makers of reliable, all-American steel fire training structures built the way you train. Fire Facilities towers, burn rooms, and mobile units help you prepare to respond and survive. All right, this is going to be part 2 of FDIC 2023. Now, this one was a blast. My two favorite fire chiefs existing in the same space and time. So the first one you're going to hear is my buddy, my brother, my really good friend, Steve McGean. He is the chief of Iqaluit in Canada, Nunavut, and we hit it off pretty good right off the bat. And it's because he cares about his people. He's a really good leader, and he takes the time to grow his people, to grow his department. And it's a struggle for him because he has a department that's kind of isolated. It's up there near the Arctic Circle. So there's a lot of transient firefighters coming there, and he helps them develop their skill set and helps them find other departments if that's what they want. So just an amazing guy, hell of a guy. And then if you listen to the end of Steve McGean's, all of a sudden my Pearland Mafia shows up. Now, Pearland, Texas Fire Department, in my opinion, I haven't been to every fire department there is, and if you're a great department, I apologize, is one of the best departments there is, simply because they've overcome obstacles, they've pulled together, and they have a strong culture that they created, and they love to share. Now, you got to keep in mind, they have Chief Jay Taylor. Now, he's been the chief for a little over a year there, and he has pulled the best out of everybody. And then his assistant chief, Jacob Johnson, is like absolutely one of the best human beings walking the face of the earth. Those two together, those combined, and the rest of their staff, and I'm not leaving anybody out, brothers, I swear I'm not, but that staff has created such a great fire department. The people there, the Pearland firefighters, man, I can't get enough of them. I was obsessed with them when I was down there. So both of these chiefs that are just like fantastic leaders are in this episode, and they actually got to meet and talk, and I was bragging. So you'll hear that on the end of the one with Steve McGean. Now, we didn't plan on having everybody from Pearland be in the podcast, but I had to because, again, their success is based on what they do together, not an individual. So now I do got to apologize too. Another microphone problem. Just bear with me, man. Bear with me. You're going to hear some moments where you're not going to hear somebody talk, and then we'll chime back in. I apologize for that. I'm not good at this podcasting in a live room. So I apologize. Next year will be 1,000% better. Now I want you to enjoy I want you to enjoy listening to two of the best fire chiefs there is. Steve McGean, Iqaluit Fire Department in Nunavut, Canada. And then my brother from another mother as well, Chief Jay Taylor from Pearland, Texas. All right, brothers, hope you enjoy. See, all
right. No, I'm good. Thank you, though.
We're already recording, Julian. I'm going to edit this shit out, though. Don't worry. All right. Welcome back to 3-Point Firefighter. Today, my guest is I've never met you, sir. So. This is my buddy, Steve McGean. Now, Steve has been my caretaker for the past week at FDIC. He's made FDIC for me, this one, my favorite. Love you, brother. Glad you're here.
Hey, it's my first one, so I appreciate you helping me out and get me around.
That's what it's about. That's what it's about.
It is.
We've been going out and having whole milk, 2% milk, chocolate milk, all night.
Chocolate milk and orange juice.
Yeah,
lots of orange juice.
I don't know, but it's a lot of vitamin C. It kind of scares me. But Chief McGean here is the chief at Iqaluit, Canada, up near the Arctic Circle. Now, you've watched my podcast before. You know I've had Steve on. Me and Steve hit it off right off the bat, become good buddies. and he's actually just happens to be in the market for hopefully getting a training tower. So I want to talk to him a little bit about the training tower. I wonder what training tower he should get. Fire facilities, perhaps?
Well, I mean, after seeing what we seen yesterday, it's almost solidifying it for me.
Oh, yeah, the IFD one.
Yeah, when we went with Chief Dryman there and walked around Indianapolis, like the Commissioner Extra, like
The deluxe, the deluxe model.
Man, that was amazing.
Yeah.
Like that was a monster. The few little extra addeds that he had in there, and I already told the chief that I'm stealing his a few ideas from him. So
what about the telephone pole one? Is that's
the idea I'm stealing?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you betcha.
I didn't know how. I guess I never paid attention when I was up there last year if that was going to be a big deal. So what they did at IFD is they actually had 2 real telephone poles put in right next to one side of the training tower, and then they strung just regular rope in between to simulate the lines. So it's a really cool way to build in that obstacles that we have to deal with real world. So you're going to actually try to do that.
Well, yeah, we deal with all the power lines in my community are exposed.
Mm-hmm.
We see them all. So they're low lying, they're in our way, and this is a great practical way. So to see that they're utilized the way that the IFD and Chief Dryman has done that up. Brilliant, brother, brilliant, yeah. And I'm stealing it. So, sorry, I didn't say steal. I'm going to borrow that from him. Yeah, I'm going to borrow
You're Canadian. You're too nice.
Well, exactly. Sorry, eh?
Sorry, eh? Take off, poser. So, if you're like me, and we didn't talk about this yesterday or last night, we probably should have. When you were walking through that tower, their big ass commissioner, were you thinking like what training you would do in that place? Like for me, I was walking around going, "Oh man, this would be great to do." Not just the live burns, obviously, but I was like, oh man, you could really stretch the stairs here and do this and do that. Did you go through that?
Yeah, like going through my head, and the biggest thing for me is burn rooms on multiple levels. Like we do have a lot of multi-level structures in our community. Even though we're a small community, our biggest structure is an 8-story high apartment complex, which is huge. So looking at the rescue opportunities, so the rappelling issues that we can be using. Mm-hmm. I really like that the elevator shaft option that they had in there.
That was dope.
That was on point.
Yes.
But then also they had the covering up where the parapet wall is, and they had the escape hatches that went straight down as well. So even in inclement weather, those guys could train and be out of the elements, which is fantastic. Because who wants to train when it's raining, or in my case, snowing? So
so say snowing. Yeah. Well, the thing about Fire Facilities Towers too is if you look on their website, you're going to see the different climates and elevations these things are at. So, big shout out to my brother Caleb Mousy down in Sierra Vista. They have one, and it's out in the desert, so it takes a beating. And then there's other ones up near your area, so you know that when you get a tower, if you get a Fire Facilities Tower, I mean, maybe you want something that's not fire facilities because you don't care about your people and you don't want to make sure they're safe. I don't know. I'm not judging. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying.
But you know that in that environment, because you live in a harsh environment.
Yes.
You got to make sure that your stuff is going to actually work. It's going to stay there and it's going to do the job, and fire facilities is going to do that.
Yeah, and I mean, even on the website, you see some of the pictures of some structures that they have, and like some of these departments have had these units for almost 30 years.
Yes.
So the durability. And they still look brand new. So,
the one down Sierra Vista was like that. He told me it was like 30 years old. I was like, what?
Yeah, and the insulation there. You got a warranty of like 15 years on that there. So
non-prorated, 15 years on their West Tech insulation. And so for training instructors, it's great to have a nice tower. It's great to have burn room, blah blah blah. But we all know what those old tiles did. They would break, right? They would break. I have actually been in training towers recently, and they're like, okay, when you come in here, make sure you don't use a straight stream on the ceiling because you're going to break a tile.
Bust it up, yeah.
And then you've got the older liners that aren't 15-year non-prorated guaranteed, that are not West Tech, that work. Like I've seen it. So to have that assurance that not only are they going to last, but they back up what they sell.
Yes.
So, when you do live fire, we all love doing live fire, right? That is going to be a big selling point, I think, for you.
Yeah. I mean, even in their burn rooms, all you can see was the patina on the walls.
Yeah.
You couldn't see nothing else. Like there's no charring or anywhere. Like nothing was melted or roasted. It was just the patina going, okay, they have fun in here, but
I'll still work.
It
I'm not
didn't destroy
damaged.
it. Yeah, exactly. That's fantastic.
And what about when you looked outside the doors? They had those. They did have tiles, but they were just to protect the fire if they came out the door. The burn room. You remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was really cool too. That's that little extra things. And then one of the things I really liked is the movable walls. I love movable walls because we all know that firemen are going to learn the layout of your burn tower. And the bottom of, and I hope I can explain this well for you all, the bottom of fire facilities' movable walls were little clamps that push down on a flat concrete floor. And then the top hooks in up above. So it's really easy to do. But the reason I bring this up, like what I got to deal with, I've got movable walls, but you got to put them in a track in the bottom and a track up top. So the problem becomes those tracks are always there and they're always about a ½ inch sticking up. So you're hitting your knees, and I got to like give knee pads to everybody if we're going to train in that room. It's just not practical.
Excuse me.
But fire facilities, since the president, Aaron Adams, he's a firefighter. John Schaaf, right there, firefighter. They have in-house engineers. They're a lot of firefighters. They know what they're doing. It's made by brothers and sisters for brothers and sisters.
I like that line. I always hear you saying that line. It's made by firefighters for firefighters.
Yes.
And after
If they use that, they need to pay me.
100%. But the fact that when we went through that one in Indy or Indianapolis here, you could tell that Chief Dryman put a lot of time and effort into planning for that structure for the guys or for the staff, which is fantastic. But then also Fdic Fire Facilities put in the time to make it work and last.
Right.
So all those little extra added things, even though they're only little, it's huge.
Yeah, that's little stuff you have to keep in mind. American Steel, I like that. And if you got one, you would have American Steel.
I don't know how I feel about that.
You love it?
I mean, well, they get it checked at the border or something.
It's American Steel, all steel structure. It's going to last. But I wonder who in the world could you possibly get to come up and teach you when you get this new tower, if you get it?
Well, I mean, I think I know a guy.
Who? Is he real handsome? Got sort of big ears?
I think his name is Corley Moore.
God.
Oh,
See?
I love you, brother. You know I'll have you back in a heartbeat.
Now that you brought up Corley, now he probably would be a better choice. So it's going to be real interesting. And you know what we ought to do, since we're buddies and stuff, as you go through this process, we should probably look at it and maybe record little bits and pieces here. Maybe you can send me some videos and stuff, or maybe I can talk to you about like the process, because I know some processes you deal with a lot of different people. Unlike fire facilities, you make a phone call to fire facilities and everything you do is through them. From A to Z, beginning to end. So I'd like to see, maybe we can record it. That'd be a cool video.
Yeah.
And then the big grand opening, I know for a fact we'll get fire facilities to fly me out first class.
I mean, you'd be a solid ambassador to have come up.
I would be a great ambassador. My fee would only be like $100,000. That's not bad.
I mean, that's cheap.
It's Canadian.
It's Canadian. It's like $50 American, really.
I've caught your cough now. Maybe we should do that. Well, I appreciate your time, brother. I know you're walking around checking everything out, and I love you to death. I've had a great time with you here, and we still got some more stuff. Maybe tonight we'll get together and just,
milkshakes.
Milkshakes. But not all. We'll slowly drink the milkshakes.
Yeah.
All right, brother. Thank you for your time. 3.5
Cheers, brother.
My man.
Brother.
You gave me the damn call.
Can we talk about that 100,000?
There he is, the man, the myth. Look at him.
Timing.
Brothers, you two have been dying to meet, all right?
Yeah. Brother.
Jake Taylor,
Yeah,
Pearland, Texas.
Yeah, you as well.
So I told you about this.
How are you?
I'm doing
Good to
great,
see you,
brother. I'm so glad you're here. All of you, you brought your entourage. Wait,
Yeah.
are you to attack me? I know
They're here
you're
to
on my
keep.
side.
No, they're here to keep me out of trouble.
So Steve is a chief up in Calgary, Canada.
Okay.
A couple years ago, I met him.
A year ago, yeah.
And as soon as I got out of the airport and into his car, all he did was talk about speaking. Not one thing about himself, And so that set the tone. And then he has coffee with his guys and girls every morning. He does everything like you do. So, in my opinion, you're two of the best fire chiefs I've ever met. So, I really want to introduce
Come
you.
on.
It's simple, isn't it?
Yeah.
Simple concept, isn't it?
It is. It really is.
It's kind of like your people.
You guys care about the shop, like it?
Come on in.
Like I always say, you
Come
sit down
on.
with usually even one of them, but two or more of them, that's more than I am anyway. So,
We're all fun. And are you all together?
Yes, we're all together.
yeah, man.
The guys
Hi,
really.
I'm Kathy.
It's
It's nice to have you in the group.
I like the Arctic Circle.
Oh, you know all that fun?
Yeah, way north. Yeah, I'm closer to Greenland than I am to mainland.
Are you really?
so, but and that's one of the things. He's got a transitional department too. People don't want to live there all that long. And then we go to the places. So they come to this place, and then they move out. One thing I like about him, he already incorporates that into his model. So he's not like trying to keep people. He's helping them get those jobs.
Get where they want to go.
He's making better firefighters. He's making better for fire service. And I just
Mentor them.
now he hasn't been on Breaking Bad. He's been on Breaking Bad.
That's-
So, yeah. So that's
I
the
played
difference.
a cop though, so I kind of lowered my IQ.
Well,
What's that?
Oh my goodness. So what do you guys get into today?
Just wandering around. I had some buddies competing over the combat challenge. So we're gonna go watch another one compete. 3. Shane from Big Sky competes at 4.
Oh,
So
yeah.
we're gonna go watch him.
Is he competing today?
Yeah, there's in the class.
Yeah.
He competes at 3.
Oh,
He's here.
he was out there drinking milk with us last night.
yeah.
Some where I came from, Irving. Some of the rookies I trained. One of them's top 2 in the world.
All right, welcome back to 3-Point Firefighter. Today,
Not there yet.
Did I take one?
was that not cool as shit?
Do it on one take.
Yeah. Dude, that was cool, right?
It means it's official.
Welcome back to 3-Point Firefighter. Today I'm with one of my favorite group of firefighters in my favorite department. So this is kind of impromptu today. I was supposed to just meet with this young man right here, but brother showed up. I had to throw him in here. So today we're going to talk about their tower, their fire facilities tower, which I got to see. We didn't burn in that one though, but it's still a pretty good tower. So if you don't mind, please introduce yourselves.
Sure. I'm Jay Taylor. I'm fire chief of the city of Pearland, Texas.
My name's Shane Bridges. I'm the training chief. Chad Darrow, one of the instructors, also a driver. Wilson, firefighter medic.
So I got to go down to Pearland to teach 1403, and I'm blessed to go around a bunch of departments, and I see some great departments. I really, truly do. And I see some great culture. I see some great everything. Pearland's different. It was even better. It's a level I didn't know that existed. So I kind of fanboy over Pearland. So they're probably sick and tired of hearing it, and they're probably thinking, dude, it's our department. What's the big deal? I invite them to come to my department for a couple weeks and then go back to yours and see if you notice a difference. Great group guys led by him. Now, when I went there just to teach, I had no idea what I was going to learn, but I learned a lot. So I'm having you on May 2nd, and we're going to really go into that because I don't want to take up your time here about it, but I got to brag on you. I love you guys. So let's talk about the fire facilities training tower you have. Now, we burned, what was the other one we burned in?
The other one we burned in was built back in 2020, right during COVID. So it took us about 6 to 9 months to get it all seasoned up, get the matrix, the burn plan set up, how we were going to do it. And then we started cycling all of our guys out through the 1403 class. And it's a Class A brick building that we could do quite a bit in.
It's nice. I like that building. I like burning in that building. But I do notice, tell me, I'm not trying to bash on it, but is it a little bit harder to move some stuff around, or is that layout always the same?
The layout's always the same. The only thing that we really can move around in there is the actual burn sets and the burn racks that we have in there.
It's really, really nice. And I forget the name of it. What is it again?
The burn building?
Who made it.
I don't know who the architect was.
It's neat because they have the structural stuff is outside of the burn building, right? So it's the burns inside don't really affect the structure. It's pretty cool. But we're here to talk about fire facilities. Love fire facilities, right? And you guys have the best of both worlds. So how long have you had your fire facilities?
Fire Facilities Tower was built in 1998 in the city of Pearland. Back then, it was a Pearland Volunteer Fire Department. So in 2007, we hired our first 18 paid firefighters. We're now fully paid, 135, as you know.
Mm-hmm.
So we're a complete paid fire department. But in that, the Volunteer Association back in the day built that in 1998. And it's a captain model. It's a 5-story with an annex.
Mm-hmm.
And it provides a lot of variety in what we do. And now we've morphed it into the annex building out the side. We've actually framed it out. We do fire inspection, fire investigation classes with the local college, bring them in to do that. So we utilize that as well. But it's a 5-story tower. It's built with three burn rooms in the bottom floor, and had Class B at one point. Now it's totally Class A, but we're going to look at revamping that and put a new burn system in there soon.
Go back
Just had
to
it
Class B.
re-sandblasted. It had to go through its new standards and get inspected. So we did the sandblasting, got it all back up to speed, and it's been a great tower for us. I inherited it when I got there. I've just been there, as you know, almost a year in Pearland, but those two great buildings that we have at the fire facilities building there, we had great success with. And then the one as assistant chief I built in Irving, is, up in the North Texas area that we built, that we've had great success with up there as well.
Now, you do a lot of the training in there, right?
Yes, sir.
Does he ever go do training with you?
Absolutely. Chief throws down with us quite a bit. He's one of the chiefs that I've seen that actually gets his gear dirty and actually puts himself on the line with the guys.
Brother, I knew the answer to that, but
I don't wear white gear.
You don't wear white gear?
I look just like the rest of them.
Tell you guys, Google this department. That's great. That's great. So what is your favorite thing about your fire facilities tower?
My favorite thing is the versatility. So as we start to grow and start to expand different avenues of services we provide or actually build upon those, being able to do introductory burns for our new hires that come in, to where we're not burning the complete other building, but we can do that crawl, walk, run type approach.
Very important.
And then being able to incorporate the rope rescue training, just with the different aspects. And then we've also had the truck chauffeur class.
Okay.
And to where all of our guys were able to ladder that building multiple different angles, multiple different victim rescues. So the versatility of it is fantastic.
What about you? What's your favorite thing to teach in there?
Teaching,
Okay.
first time I've been in building. We over the last year we figured out exactly how to show these guys something they've never seen and they might not see. It's that thinking, so they'll recognize it when they see it.
Okay. Nice. What do you like burning that at all? You probably don't like it. You hate it, right?
So, but I do appreciate having all those stairs, because stairs, it's fireman's worst enemy. So,
Yes.
It's a shame on us, but we need to use them. So, I like the accessibility of that.
When I was young, I used to like stairs too. My knees, not so much. No, you're exactly right. I mean, what better way to figure out if somebody's fit or not by throwing some hose on their back, going up the stairs. Let's see, what else do you like about it?
Well, one thing that's unique about our tower is it has inlet patios, balconies as you go up.
Yeah.
The one thing about that that's unique for us is the Fort of Houston has done some training that we did in the past with them, and they realized that it was very similar to what they do in marine firefighting. So they can actually access our tower at upper floors, work the stairs down as they're going into the bowels of a ship, so to speak. Cool. And it gives them the exact same feel when they're doing that process. And so that's something that was just kind of an unexpected kind of gem of what we do with that. But we try to use it a variety of ways. Chief Bridges has done a great job on our training program. Our training committee, we have several firefighters that are passionate about it, just like everybody else that's here at FDIC during this week, that really passionate about training and moving the mantra forward. And they find ways to be creative, create that muscle memory, do things outside the box, and so that we had that controlled failure when we train.
Yes.
So we want to be able to fail. That's why we want to fail, but we want to do it in a controlled manner, so we just learn from it and get better every time. And they're doing an outstanding job, really ramping up our training program.
Is that all because of you, or you take all that and say, yep, that's all me, doing it all?
I will not.
I threw you in the hot seat on that one.
Yeah, kind of.
Sorry.
But,
Move on.
I got 30 members on the training committee, and from the live fire training to the new hire program, these guys and gals kill it every single time. They deliver every single time. All I am is just the face, and they build the program.
I'm feeling you probably do a little bit more than that, but I love that. I love that you're bragging on your brothers like that. So, what do you look like? What's the future look like for your training coming up?
So, future coming up. So, just recently, over the past year or two, we kind of adopted the engine culture, truck culture.
Mhm.
So right now we're developing our engine company manual, and our truck company manual. So we're really going to be focusing on revamping our minimum performance standards to what those manuals are pushing out. So we've got these guys and gals working on that right now, to where the minimum performance standards are going to be developed by peers and
That's awesome.
validated by peers. So
I love
it's great. We're moving forward, but we're just going to keep building onto our program, and making sure we're the best for our citizens, and delivering the best product that we can.
Yeah, we're regionalizing as well. We're trying to move into a regional facet with that. So we're already pairing with the College of Mainland. So we have their cadet classes that are coming out doing their live burns with us. We have other departments that surround us that are starting to come into their live burn training, and our committee and our crews help them, give them feedback. But it's give them familiarity with us, but it's also up in their game as well. And so we're starting to build those partnerships around us and bring those other departments in, and really have a more of a regional feel with our facility.
So you got
Forward.
Yeah, you got a great training area there to share it. It's great. It's a lot of good brotherhood there. So on these new engine truck things that are coming out, are you helping with that?
The committee itself will be out there using the tower for setting the standards, figuring out what that standard's going to be before we have the on-duty crews come out and do the validation of what that standard is.
Are you finding as you write this truck book, you're running out of crayons faster than normal?
So that's an engine crew. we have this talk a lot. We're trying to raise the IQ of all the engine crews to meet the dexterity and the mental awareness.
Is that right?
On a truck? Yeah. I was a truckie for a long time, so we have these debates all the time. So.
Well, I guess I picked the wrong fight, didn't I? Great.
We had this discussion all week, actually.
Oh my goodness, dude. Whoops. Okay, so tell me what you're going to be doing on this. You could be doing the truck or engine or a little bit of both.
Flame truck.
You know what's funny? We're kind of talking about this, but I believe that I've seen people that stay on the truck forever. That's all they would do. The truck, and they like to say that. And you can tell me if I'm wrong. This is just my opinion. They like to say, well, it takes a different type of person to be on a truck and blah blah blah. I argue that they should move to an engine so more people could be on the truck, because I don't think it's something unique to a firefighter. I think anybody with the drive can be a good truckie. It doesn't take a certain person. So let me pick that fight. Tell me, am I wrong?
Absolutely agree with you. I think it's about using the talents you think you do. We do what's comfortable for us. So if you start, when I first got assigned, I was assigned to a truck company. I was comfortable with that. But then several years I was on a pumper, so I was on an engine crew. And it is, if you have the passion to learn, if you have somebody that's passionate to learn, they're going to be good at whatever you put in front of them, and provide them the training that they need. But you're always still going to have that brotherly and sisterly back and forth that you give and take. But that's part of it. That's what we do, and that's what makes fire service so great. Yes. But I completely agree with you. You can do either job, and if you're passionate, you're passionate, and it's best to be good at all of it, to learn how to do it all, so that
Y'all agree with the chief, your boss?
Yep. Someday when you turn into an officer, you may not be an officer of a truck company and you grew up on a truck. You might be on an engine company, and you need to be able to. It's hard to ask somebody to do something you've never done yourself, so you need to be able to have those skills.
I couldn't agree more. I think if you're committed to the community, you need to get out of your comfort zone and try these new things. I would like to see, trucks, engines kind of being able to rotate. I think everybody needs that experience. Now, I will say this, and I'll probably cut this out because I don't want this really going to be known about me because I like to bash on trucks so much. The few times I had been on a truck and got fires, I really enjoyed it. I ain't gonna lie.
You did. You did.
I did. Not having that hand line and then dude, for real though, right? For real. So again, I will edit this, or I will switch it to where I'll voice over. I'll say engine work. But no, that's great. Hey, listen, I appreciate your time. I know you got stuff doing today, and I know this wasn't really planned like this. Just another example. You guys are great. Now, listen, I know you're just tired of me saying that. You're probably wondering if I'm insane or not. I promise you. I go to different departments all the time, all over the country. You all have something special. I just hope there's a way you guys can share that. Help all of us out. You know what I'm saying?
Appreciate that very much. And like I've told you, I inherited a great group in Pearland, and they have 135 strong, and they're talented. And all I do is keep between the ditches and let them run. And they're doing some really wonderful things and taking us to new levels. And we want to be the department that others emulate in our area. And we're working hard to do that. And it's because of them. People are noticing what we're doing and sharing. And we'll talk more about that on May 2nd. I look forward to that. It's going to be a lot of fun.
And I hope you bring up a lot of sports stuff because I got other ways to deflect.
You can do that.
I know nothing of sports. So, but like I said, I've got the one where I can say it all comes back to coaching. And then I get this one's a little more dangerous. I might say something like, I prefer defense or offense, but if I'm talking about the wrong thing, I screw that up. And then one time, my other one was, but look what he did last year. And that didn't work for Kobe Bryant his first year. So that did not work for me. So I got to be a little bit careful about that. But I know nothing in sports, but I want to pretend like I do.
Yeah.
Just like firefighting. I don't know anything about it. I just pretend. Brothers, thank you for your time.
That's what I did. Look where it got me. So.
Thank you, brothers. You have a great time. Great seeing you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, brother.
Absolutely.
You guys are the best. Thank you. Oh, my goodness. Thank you.
One take. That's all it took.
Welcome back to 3 Point Firefighter. For the next few episodes, you're going to see some live podcasting I did in FDIC 2023 at the sponsors booth, Fire Facilities. So the first one is going to be Dave Mellin and Eric Jones. Now, I got to apologize for the audio quality on this one simply because I brought brand new microphones just for FDIC this year, and one of them broke. So I had to share one in between us. But it's a really good time. I really enjoyed talking to Dave. Eric is awesome every single time, and that man is super passionate. So I hope you enjoy it. And this is FDIC 2023, brought to you by Fire Facilities. Kicking ass and taking names. Our podcast today was sponsored by Fire Facilities. This Made in America company is dedicated to constructing top quality custom training structures to meet your needs. Make your training count with all steel structures that are made to last. Visit firefacilities.com for more details.
Welcome back to 3 Point Firefighter. I'm here with very fancy Dave Mellin.
Well, hello.
And how are you feeling after yesterday's Hot Wing Challenge?
So sitting down is a little difficult. I feel like I should have got one of those donuts, break their tailbone. But it's okay. I stopped by the drugstore and got some wet wipes, and everything's been pretty okay.
Well, I should have told you, they sell toilets with pistol grips and stirrups, so you can let her eat. Why do you torture yourself for a year if you know this is going to happen?
So, first off, I'm a glutton for punishment, right?
Literally.
So I think that there is one part of it is, if I don't do it, who will? I feel like I serve a higher purpose.
Yes.
And then also, really, it's for the community. I mean, if we can do the show and somebody learns something or somebody gets an idea because of what we talked about, and they enjoyed it because I'm dying, then that's cool. Like, it makes it more interesting to me, and so I know it makes it more interesting. So no, it's kind of one of those things where I'm willing to do it. Now there are limits, right? Like there are hard no's.
Which are?
There's a couple sauces that I've been sent by people, and I've tried them off camera, and I'm like, okay, I can't physically talk because it's that hot. Or there was one that actually put me into hiccups, burps, I threw up, and I had like cramping stomach pain within a 5-minute period, like time period. That was a hard no. Like I can't do the show with that. Now, still use it to cook with because it has great flavor.
Right.
But I use like the tip of a toothpick. So that would be a hard no for the show. But like I said, it's still hot. Everything that we do is anywhere between I think 20,000 and like 2 million scobles. So trying to keep it in there.
I think it's a great idea. I don't know that I could do it every year. I'm watching you suffer. I was over there and you were just sweating. And then, of course, the hearing kept going on. And you're like, shut up. Just shut up. Let's get through this.
Yes. The answers seem to get longer no matter what we do. But like I said, it's fun. It's good for us. And it brings people together like at a conference. Right. You can actually have time to sit down, talk with you, hang out, stuff like that.
But I think what you need to do is near the end, as you get hotter stuff, make the questions like, what's your favorite number? What's your favorite color?
Right.
That way you don't get a big, long, Aaron Adams diatribe where he does he comes back all the way around. The year was 1942. It was a chilly night. I just asked you if you liked the Halligans.
It's like when you're trying to get a medical history from a patient. They're like, well, in 1961.
Well, you need to have a Super Bowl of it. I think you need to bring those sauces into play at some point. Maybe not for you. Maybe you do come by, and if you could do this sauce and still talk,
Yes.
5 minutes later, you get the challenge.
I'd be okay with that.
Well, so we both podcasters now for fire facilities.
Yep.
This has been your first year, right?
Yes.
How's it been going?
It's been really good. So, we started this back in quarters podcast.
Mm-hmm.
And so obviously in talking to you and then hooking up with Aaron and Kathy and everybody at Fire Facilities, they wanted to sponsor the show. And so it was great because it's a good avenue for me to get sponsorship.
Mm-hmm.
And then for me to also have that avenue of quarters podcast, which is more just me talking about things that I'm passionate about. And so it really was a great combination because I do a lot of training in fire facilities buildings. Almost, I would say, half of the buildings we've trained in around the country have been fire facilities. And we have a couple of reoccurring classes that we go to or conferences as well that are fire facilities. So it was cool to work with a company that I've actually used, seen their product, and it's something that I believe in.
Yeah, I do too. And I think it's definitely my favorite. I'm not just saying that because I work for them. I just, like you, I burn in these things all the time. And I'm always surprised when they go, when I ask them, wow, is this a new tower? No, we've had it for like 15 years. I'm like, this thing takes the heat pretty good.
Well, I saw, so like we went to a couple towers in the burn room before, and then we went to a couple of the newer towers that had the metal sheeting
West
with the
Texas.
insulation. Yeah. And so, I mean, it was crazy to see the amount of fire that they've been burning in their burn rooms. And they're like, yeah, we got a little crazy and we burned up a panel and it was down for like 6 hours until we switched the panel out. I'm like, really? Like, yeah, we never really had to take it out of service. We just couldn't burn in that room until we pulled the screws out, put a new panel up. Everything was good.
Have you ever been into a burn room? Because I have, where you go there to do a class and they'll tell you, all right, whatever you do, don't use a straight stream on the ceiling because you're going to break the tiles.
Well, that and another one of my pet peeves, don't use a straight stream or a smooth bore. Oh, and you can't flow above 60 GPM because otherwise it'll rip the panels. Yeah, because that's super realistic.
Yeah. They're taking training in a different direction there. I was about to say, okay, so here's what I was about to say. Yeah, that's not NFPA 1403 to have less than 95 gallons a minute. Then I realized I was talking to Dave Mellin.
Right.
So, yeah, I don't know that.
I mean, neither is getting into your underwear and going and laying in a burn room. But not that happens. That doesn't happen because it's against NFPA.
I know you've talked about doing it.
Would love to do it sometime, somewhere, in some burn building.
You know the thing about 1403, and I love it, I teach it, and I believe in it. Your name comes up quite a bit when I teach, right? We get to certain
hashtag don't do this.
Yeah, well, okay, so it comes up, and here's what I say. I'm like, all right, as 1403 instructor, I can't endorse as Jake Barnes, one of the best classes probably around. I would go to it every chance I could because there's a level of realism that you're bringing, and you're putting just like the hot wing challenge, you're putting yourself in harm's way, and you're not doing it for you. You're not doing it for attention. You're doing it to make the firefighters learn something, see something. So I couldn't do it. As a 1403 instructor, I'm like, but man, you're the only one who can put danger, and I think that the juice is worth the squeeze. I really do with you. So, man, I just say thank you.
So, well, thank you for saying that. And real quick, I'm going to turn my chair sideways.
Okay.
I thought we were facing forward.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't get the memo that we were doing like a conversational piece.
Well, we're doing this. See?
Okay, yeah. I see that. It's clearly.
I don't look too far to my
So I'm going to gaze into this. I try to be as safe as I can. When we've talked about this, we don't shy away from this. Everybody that knows me knows exactly what I do. So, like, my go-to for that is to have a safety plan, right? There has to be, obviously, a 1403 group.
Right.
And so I have been to places where they're like, hey, we're not totally okay with it. But I've been to places where they're like, well, how do you want to do it? What do you want to do? Okay. I need to be in an area that is completely cut off from where the fire room is. I need to be completely cut off from the any of the live fire. I need to have a place where I can have an easy escape path in 2 ways. So I don't care. Give me a window, give me a stairwell, whatever. I need to be able to go away from the fire. And so, again, having that ability to have them have live fire somewhere in that building, and then having me be hanging out of a window and screaming for help, and them having to throw a ladder and come up and get me, it just adds a different level of realism. It's just not, and again, they're getting that realism with theatrical fire. They're not getting it with real fire. And there are times where they're doing a live fire. So you're going to miss out on a whole day of anything realistic for victims because they can't do it.
Right.
So again, it's not, I wish I could say like, oh, I just take off my clothes and go running into a burning building. That's not what happens. There's like hours of planning, communication, all that stuff for like 5 minutes.
Yeah, like I said, I think that juice is worth the squeeze because these guys are gonna. It gets into that next level, They in that headspace. It starts kicking in that amygdala a little bit more, going like, "Holy shit, this is a real dude."
Yeah.
Now I know when they take your class, they are expecting some Dave Mellin something. How do you change that from class to class, or can you?
So some of it is organic, and then some of it is. I don't want to say manufactured. I mean, if I'm going somewhere where I know I've taught same students, I try to change it up a little bit. But I'll give you an example. I was teaching down in Oklahoma. I'm notorious, obviously, for getting into my underwear. That's nothing new. So I was coming down a ladder from the second floor. The firefighter that was underneath me, was doing a great job. He was trying to coax me and calm me down, and I'm pretending like I'm scared. And as we're coming down the ladder, I hear him mumbling, and he's just getting really mad, and he sounded upset. And I kept looking down, and I'm like, what? And he's like, "Arr, what? Arr." I'm like, dude, I can't understand you. And he's like, "Arr." Get down the ladder. He throws his stuff down and just like walks away. And I'm like, wow, I was really pissed off. Like, I don't know what I did. So all the other guys that were standing around watching this they think it's hilarious. And I'm like, what is so funny? They're like, dude, you have no idea. I'm like, no. They're like, look down. I look down and I'm in my underwear. Things are hanging out. So apparently when I was coming down the ladder, it was like right up against his face mask.
See.
So again, meaning to learned a lesson. But that was one of those things that like people were laughing about it for months afterwards. And they're like, yeah, Mellin was trying to spice it up a little bit, some better training. And I'm like, that wasn't it at all. I just didn't realize that was going to something like
it was your new class teabagging for safety.
Apparently.
Yeah.
Apparently.
So he had the little boys right there.
I don't think it ever actually. Again, it's one of those things where as much as I can sit there and like make fun of it, for it, whatever, you can't tell me that hasn't actually happened.
No.
Right? You get somebody at 3 a.m. that climbs out on a ladder and they're not wearing pants, you're probably going to see some stuff that you don't want to see.
Yep. And again, that real, you're fighting a real person. You're fighting. I mean, it's nothing you've seen from fire training before.
Right.
So, tell me, man, I take that class all day long. And there's something to be said. You're only putting yourself in harm's way. You do all the backup stuff. You do all the safety stuff. Come on. So, but I mean, you've got to take it lock, spoke. How do you get around that?
So a lot of it is delegated. So we try to delegate the position of the victim to just me, and there's one other instructor that I trust, right? And so when him and I are doing it, we look for either a place where there's no smoke, like inside the building where we can close off the porch or whatever, and then we'll use theatrical smoke for that. Or, not gonna lie, there have been a couple times where we couldn't because we were on like an upper floor, and so even though we were separated from the fire just because of the way the building is, the smoke still migrates. And so we'll wear an airplane. I have no problem wearing an SCBA. And so what I usually do is I'll take the mask, hook it around, put it up to my face, take a breath, flick it off, hang out the window. And I always seen it. I always have a CBA. Even if it's theatrical, I still want to have one with me just in case something happens. But yeah, we'll take a puff, and then stick our head out the window and screaming and yelling. We try not to take in any more smoke than you normally.
Well, it's funny. Have you seen that one test booth out here? Or heard about one test before?
Is this the cancer thing?
The cancer thing.
Yes.
Yes. So I just did mine today.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's like $120 done because of the smoke and stuff. That's kind of what triggered that right there. And about also off camera, I need to tell you something. Don't worry, it's not filthy dirty.
No, that's fine. Well, so okay, the one test, is this the blood test or is this the ultrasound?
No, it's the blood test, and they take your blood up there, you pay for it.
Okay.
7 to 10 days later, you get your markers.
Okay,
like
good,
where you're
good,
at.
good.
It's not that they tell you; they tell you these markers that you, because of the elevation of this, and this, you could possibly do that, and then that gives you something. You go to your doctor and say, "Look, let's look at this."
So I wish more departments would do that as a standard, right? But when I was down in Florida for the North Florida Fire Expo, they had a company that does the ultrasounds.
Yes.
And so I was able to get that.
Just of your product?
No. They did the whole body. It was really cool. So they did an ultrasound, basically like your lymph nodes, your heart to look for an aortic aneurysm. They looked at your lungs for nodes and nodules. They went through and looked at your kidney, your liver. They did check some things down below.
Little Elvis and the boys.
Just a little Elvis and the boys. Also, quick side note, I thought, she said, I'm going to step out and you can take your pants off, whatever. When she came back in, I was on all fours, thinking that that's what I was supposed to be doing. Apparently not. Apparently.
Let's paint this picture. Girl goes out.
Right.
You get them naked and on all fours.
And she said, I'm going to check below. And so I thought, but I just assumed that it's what it was supposed to be. So apparently I was wrong.
So maybe not make so many assumptions when it comes to
I would ask.
Yeah.
Whoever's doing your test, I would definitely ask what the procedure is.
Mr. Mellin? Huh?
Yes. No, I mean they scan for testicular cancer,
right.
Which is important. And I make jokes about it really. But I make jokes about it, but it's something that's important. We need to be checking for that stuff. We're 100 and some times more likely for all these cancers. And I got my son running around here. I want to die early.
There's so much we can do about it. Honestly. Just in the middle of my department trying to get some cancer prevention stuff going. I get pushback. I'm not gonna lie, like wearing your SCBA during overhaul. It's just that simple. Why would you not want to do it? Well, do it. So we're trying to work on that, and they're not the only department. I mean, there's a lot of departments that don't wear their SCBAs during overhaul, and it's just insane. But we're working on that stuff. There's good things out there, but if you stay on top of it, if you really do everything you can to try to eliminate, then go to your doctor, get the blood work, and go all the time. Go regularly. I think that helps. Now, what I was talking about is there's a thing where I'm at. They Doppler your products, so to see if there's any blockage there. They do calcium scoring screening test. Have you heard about that?
I have not
done that. Wrote an article on it, Dave. You might want to check it out. No, it's really great. So, and it takes 30 minutes, $50, $50-ish, no insurance, no doctor referral. And what they do is they do basically a CAT scan of your chest, and they're looking for plaque. It's calcium. Calcium turns pink, and then they have an algorithm that correlates that to plaque. Oh, so they can tell you if before you blow a widowmaker that hey, you're blocked, and they can start doing stuff. So you don't have really that part. Cool. It's dirt cheap, and it's all out there. So check into that. But anyway, this other place does that, the Doppler, and they do one more thing for firefighters to check all that stuff. So I'm really big into that. I hate that we die on the scene of heart attacks, and then if we are lucky enough to retire, we got cancer rates.
Yeah. So this is probably going to be a little controversial. But so I was listening to a presenter the other day. Talking about PTSD and a bunch of other stuff. One of the things that he said that really kind of drove home with me is that, we give 30, 40, sometimes 50 years of our life to the fire service for one line in your obituary. And it kind of hit me. I was like, yeah, he's right? Like, and I've heard other sayings like, if you die, your gear locker is going to be, somebody else is going to be in your gear locker by the end of the month or something like that. So, I think it's time for cities and municipalities and governing bodies to start funding that kind of stuff. You know, we sit there and go, oh yeah, it's super cheap. I don't think any of us should be paying for it. I don't think any of us should. And I understand some municipalities can afford it in, you know, larger departments where it's going to be hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars. But surely there's a way to get programs running. And I know departments that are doing it where it's part of their annual physical. And you get cancer screen, you want to get physical, you run on a treadmill, and that's all to keep employed.
I'm pretty sure Indy does that. I think they outsource to a company, and I forget the name, that does all that. And that's an investment in people.
Yeah.
You know,
100%.
You got to invest in your people, and it's not just trucks, gear, you know, time off. You got to invest in your people for the long haul. So we're going to be around.
Yeah. So I'm going to make sure I get 2 lines in my own.
What's the second line I'm going to say?
I don't know. I'll figure it out.
Once I became training officer, the chances of having people come to my funeral for my department went very low.
Drastically low.
Yeah. So my wife, unfortunately, will have to be one of the pallbearers. That's all I can do. So maybe I'll get out of that position and get a few more people.
We are so morbid. It is like, we were talking. Actually, it's funny that you mentioned that. So we were talking about we do death packets. You know, so like in case something happens to you on duty, it's like what you want to have happen. And all of us, at some point, none of us know what's in each other's packets because it's privileged information. However, the one thing that we all agreed on was that they're messed up. Like, if any normal human being read what's in that packet, they'd be like, what? Like, one guy for sure I know of, because his wife is deathly afraid of clowns. He put that he wanted a clown at his funeral service. And I'm like, bro, that is messed up. And he's like, oh, it'll be funny to everybody else, not her. I'm like, and of course, we're all talking about it. We're like, all right, who's going to get the clown? And all of us were like, nobody is going to get the clown. We're like, we have to. He wants it. It's written down.
It's
But yeah, all of us are just messed up.
I can see that. Probably so nasty that they probably couldn't do it. Now, my wife knows how I am. So, like, let's say she's afraid of clowns. She would laugh her ass off.
Right.
But I'm going to outlive her. So, we've got this conversation all the time. She's 7 years younger, but just because I want to.
Right. Yeah, because you're stubborn.
I'm stubborn. And she probably will die sooner just because she has to do with me long stretches. Yeah. So,
Yes.
bless her heart. Brother, I appreciate you coming by. It means a lot. You look great today.
Thank you.
And I hope we get through this again.
Absolutely. Anytime.
Love you, buddy.
Love you too, pal.
Welcome back to 3-Point Firefighter. Today, we're going to talk a little bit about again. Oh, shit. Sorry. God damn, I got to put cuss. Oh, what are you doing?
You're not going to they've heard everything.
Welcome back to 3-Point Firefighter. Today, I'm here with Eric Jones. Now, Eric has been on my podcast before, and he lives close to me. Great guy. Honored to have him back. But today, we're going to talk a little bit about his training tower. Eric, tell me a little bit about your training tower. Wait, can I guess who makes your training tower?
Yes.
I believe it's
Fire facilities.
That's right.
Yep. So we have the Lieutenant model.
Okay.
Which is a 4-story tower. There's one right back over here.
Boom.
Yep, there's no. We have a 4-story tower. It has a single burn room on the first floor. A pitched roof for roof ventilation. We have a rappelling system on the top, and then it's got a parapet wall for your ladder operations, aerial operations, and such. And we have had that for roughly 24 years.
24 years.
4 years.
Now, how does it look today?
Looks great.
Really?
We just burned it last Sunday. System's been great. You probably wouldn't even know it's that old at all.
So, is it Class A or Class B?
Class A.
So, it's been my experience that these Class A burns normally tear up the liners and all that, just because there's more heat stuff. What's been the situation for the liners?
So the liner's good. Like I said, we have the single burn room. It's like a 14 by 14, so 8 foot ceiling. Right now, we're just dealing with the West Temp paneling. We are looking at the available option of the West Tech metal paneling. It's a 15-year warranty and extends it. A lot more burns with less maintenance.
Yeah, and I should know the temperature rating for that. It's pretty high. Yeah. But I love burning in these fire facilities buildings because I think they're again, I keep saying this. The president Adams is a firefighter. John Shaw is a firefighter. These are made by firefighters for firefighters, and you can't go wrong. So, also heard you talking about maybe converting to gas?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a good option. I mean, if we was able to look at, we're talking about maybe some grant opportunities and such in regards to doing the Tech metal system inside of our burn room now, and maybe even adding another burn room with that paneling, and then possibly with Simtech doing the gas system inside
So
Class B.
that's one of the things I like about it too. Is like when you get the tower, you can add on to it. You can.
Oh.
I mean, it's always like expandable and scalable. So you've had it for 24 years. Now you're like, instead of scrapping it, where a lot of people, 20 years is a long time for a tower, but people usually scrap it and then build another one. Yours is fine. You're just going to maybe change it to gas.
Maybe, at least maybe one floor of it or something like that. We'll see what options are available for that. But
There's hallway rollovers, man, like that. That's amazing. That's
there
fun.
is standpipe kits you can buy for these, sprinkler kits you can buy for them, trap doors for rid or search and rescue. And there's divider walls that you can move around and things like that that they offer. So I mean, they have a lot of different products that continue to add to your system to keep it, make it new and refreshing. So.
That's nice because I mean, you know, as a training officer, it's hard to get money to get a training tower.
Yeah.
And it's really hard to get the money that you want for training tower you want, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I mean, you always have to go big and then start bringing it down
Sure.
to basically you just have one-story building.
Yep.
No, it's great, and they do everything in house. They have their own engineers in house.
Mm-hmm.
I always like to say it's just a one phone call away, and that's it. You don't have to start doing everything else. And then if you have to do those weird things like soil stuff, they can help you through that process too.
And they do also the inspections as well.
Yes, they do the inspections, which per 1403, you got to have those every 5 or 10 years, depending on if you're A or B. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, what's the best part about your tower?
The best part about our tower is the fact that we have one available, and where a lot of departments in surrounding us do not even have anything.
Yeah.
So for us to have that, it allows us. We've had roughly 12 fire academy classes through this. We train on this 2, 3, 4 times a month at times. So it's allowed us to do pretty much all of our fundamental skills and continue to keep building and adding on. We do bailouts, and we do aerial operations, and like I said, about everything that we've been using this tower, we use.
Now, I think this is one of your big training classes you teach. Mm-hmm. It's how to have a pistol grip on a fog nozzle, open it to a wide fog, and then move in and break all the windows at the same time.
We do that simultaneously.
Okay. Yeah.
We've actually mastered it.
It's very cutting edge.
Yeah.
He doesn't do that.
No, we don't.
As a training officer, were you cringing when I was saying
yes,
that?
I was like,
where's this asshole going?
Yes. But no, it's been a great system for us. We've got a chance to run, like I said, in our academy classes, we have 25 to 30 students a year. We've been doing this for over a decade. Several have moved on from volunteer combination. A lot of them have moved on. I've had over 20 move on to career firefighters. So they've all been through our system, our tower, which is neat because the first time that, when these guys are coming in, a majority of them are fresh to the fire service. They're green, they're brand new. So their first experience of doing their fundamentals in the fire service is right there in our tower. Mm-hmm. And so that's kind of something you always remember. You're always going to remember your first live fire you had, your first training you had.
It's true.
And that's kind of where it's at. It's for a lot of people, it's right here in our tower. So.
It's funny you said that because as soon as you said that, I could picture my first live burn perfectly. But I couldn't tell you what 10 burns I did after that.
Yeah.
So that's so funny you said that. That was our We're right. So I tell you what, let's put all this fire facility stuff on hold for a little bit. Tell me about the hot class you teach.
Well, I just like I said, we're a safety of it. But for the last 3 years, I've been Fdic safety instructor, safety officer for the instructor hot classes, and I get to work with some great guys, Joe Alvarez and all those guys from Jersey and Maplewood and FDNY, and then
some more names. I want name dropping.
And then this year we had Insight Fire Training came in with Andy Starnes, Thomas Anderson, Sean Duffy.
Name drop.
Yep, and we got a chance to do some great training with those guys. 2 days of hot classes, live fire, search and rescue with the guys that know thermal imaging better than about anybody on the site. Right. So
we were assuming I don't know anything about thermal imaging.
Right.
Does he like talk down to you at all? No. He just slammed me on my own show.
Uh,
Okay, I don't even know what a tick is.
but as a safety guy, you get a chance to really get in there and play with them and learn from them, and get a chance to meet different people from all the country, all the world. Actually, we had people from Australia and Sweden in our class.
Wow.
Yeah,
That is so
Andy's and those group of guys.
Yeah, I've never heard a negative thing about that guy. Everybody has to say, "Oh, him, he's wonderful," and it's all about his personality before they even start talking about his teaching.
Yep.
They're just like, "This guy's great."
Yeah, he's legit.
So, what do you do there? So, tell me what you're actually. So they're lighting the fires, they're doing whatever class they're doing. What are you doing as safety?
So we have every program or every site, live fire site's going to have multiple safety officers, and they're usually just people from the local area of the state. We actually this year we had people from Michigan come up, and Illinois come up to also be safety officers for our hot classes. And then we also get a chance to get inside. We make sure that the fire's under control and everything else. So a lot of the day, for example, on Monday, me and Sean Duffy spent several hours just in the burn room.
How cool is that?
Watching students go through and controlling the fire and making sure the conditions were good and safe for all the firefighters. And then the following day did the same. So I spent a lot of time on the third floor of the tower with Andy Starnes, 5 or 6 evolutions, listening to him, letting all the students drop in VES and live fire conditions.
Did you like have a fanboy moment, or were you too cool for it? Like, hey man, what's up?
You gotta play it off. You gotta play it.
I'd be like, remember that time you did that class on ticks? That was awesome. Yeah, I would be that guy.
It's fun. It's neat. It's just like I said in our podcast. It's about networking. It's about marketing.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's important that somebody did something for you before. Somebody reached out to you, gave you an opportunity, and now it's just time to do the same for others. And if people are doing a good job, tell them they're doing a good job.
He sneaks up on you, doesn't he?
Yeah, he did.
He sneaks on you.
He's sneaky.
Great guy, but he's like a little ninja.
But yeah, I mean, like I said, it's just paying it forward. So just to get a chance to start where I'm from and the little apartment I'm on, to be able to do some things and sitting here with you and being at the show and walking around and meeting people and people kind of recognize you.
It is kind of cool, right? I can say I know.
Yeah, right.
Nah, come on. So I appreciate your time. So for those who don't know, I had nothing but trouble setting this up today because I'm not that good at my job. So him and his family were very nice and gave me all kinds of time to get ready. So I would like to end this with not just Eric, but his whole family. So I'm going to turn the camera around and go there with your family and throw them in the mix.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. Here we go. Say hi to everybody. Brother, thank you so much for being on again. It's great knowing you. Have a great day. Appreciate it. Welcome back to 3-Point Firefighter. Today, I have 2 guests, Eric Dryman, Chief Cressick. Now, we're going to talk a little bit about their new tower at IFD. I got to tour it yesterday. I will be posting that video. To say it's incredible is an understatement. It's one of the nicest, well, no, it is the nicest training tower I've seen and the nicest training facility. So, who started this? Who got this ball rolling?
Well, I got it rolling, and I passed the torch off to him, and now he's continuing it on. So I was the initial point man on the design and development of the academy and the tower itself.
Mm-hmm.
I'm the former chief of training. Sam is now the chief of training. So shortly after the project was completed, I decided that there was some opportunities, as well as it was just kind of time for a change for myself. And I stepped down as chief of training, and Sam's picked up the torch.
So how hard was it to get this ball rolling? I mean, how do you even start a project this big?
Well, we really started by traveling around the state of Indiana, and we went down to Nashville, Tennessee, who again has a fire facilities tower, the commissioner. And we just looked at a lot of different training facilities, and of course I did research on the internet like most people do nowadays. And I had, have a lot of personal experience traveling around the country and teaching classes and things. So I kind of knew what I did and didn't like about different facilities. Ultimately, particularly after going and physically visiting the Nashville, Tennessee Training Academy, it became very apparent that we wanted a fire facilities. We wanted the commissioner.
And you had to one-up them. right? You had to one up them and change it a little bit. What'd you do to change from Nashville to put them in the rear view, bring you guys up?
Well, we didn't do a whole lot different, but we did make some modifications. The commissioner that they have in Nashville has a confined space trainer built into it. We already have our own confined space training facility for the Indianapolis Fire Department, so we really didn't need that. It was going to be, a redundancy that we could potentially save some money on.
Mm-hmm.
But what I did change was I wanted an additional standpipe in the tower. So the tower typically comes with an interior standpipe, associated with the interior stairwell. We added a standpipe to the exterior stairwell as well, so it gives us the opportunity to stretch from two different stairwells, simulate different high-rise scenarios and things like that, which is one of the big things that we have to deal with in Indianapolis with the high-rise we have in the downtown. So.
Oh, okay. So you've obviously crushed Nashville, right? So now they're all upset. You get a better tower and better training facilities. And those listening in Nashville, I'm just kidding. Calm down. Yeah. No, I do know that their facility is pretty darn awesome. They got a commissioner model like you all have. Now, so let me ask you, Chief Crescent. I got to walk the grounds yesterday, and I've always said that you can tell a whole lot about a fire department's culture by their training grounds. You're seeing big, little, good, and bad. I can honestly say I've never seen a better training facility all the way around. The fire facilities building, but all the extra room, and then that building, we got to walk through the actual building where you have a gym and cardio. I mean, you're investing in your new people. Has it always been that way at IFD, or is this just a great big jump up? Because it seems like a huge investment in people.
I think we've always invested in our people, but we actually have now our own grounds to invest in our people. So it actually is more of a physical statement, and that place makes a statement.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. I lucked into this job at the right time. But I'd been part of the training vision for the last 4 years. And so I feel like we'd always kind of begged, borrowed, and stealed whatever piece of property we could do our training on. Mm-hmm. We feel like we've always done really good training, but now we're able to maybe do a little bit more consistent.
What I noticed when I was walking through with Chief Dryman, out of all the cool stuff that I saw that was strictly designed for your recruits and your department, was all the warehouse. That warehouse blew me away. And just $300 million worth of plywood is what I saw. You had everything. So you can talk about beg, borrow, and steal. So somebody like me, when I do training, I have to do that. I have to get a little from here, a little from there, hope for a little free stuff. But again, it's not just your facility you all made. Mm-hmm. Is that you stocked it to where it can be used at any time consistently, it looks like. That's amazing. How hard is it to keep the upkeep, I guess? Because that's a lot of grounds to cover.
And that's still something we're sort of exploring. But right now, with the recruit class of 62, that does help. But it's sort of setting up those systems in place to where we're going to get, hopefully make that upkeep easier on all of us. We're building our props, we're utilizing all that wood, and we like to burn. We like to burn with our incumbents and our recruits. So,
I saw 2 flashover chambers.
Sure. Yep. We have 2 flashover chambers, a Class A building, and then obviously in this building here, we can burn.
It's an amazing building. We were walking through it. I'm a big fan of the West Tech insulation,
mm-hmm.
and it's not really because they're my sponsors. I'm a fire instructor, and I love that burn room can take that heat, and you got that warranty, non-prorated 15-year warranty. Does that give you a little more comfort knowing that you can move your burns, take care of your burns, and you don't have to worry about the old tiles they used to break all the time, and then the old, like I've got warping liners in mine. So how does that help your training, you think?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. And we're still doing sort of sea trials and seeing how it is that we're going to burn and utilize that. What drills are we going to be able to do, with our recruits? We had everything set up at our previous places that we utilized, and now we get to be as creative as we want to be and not hurt anybody else's feelings.
So I figured it out by going to your facility. You can do fire training.
Mm-hmm.
You can do rappelling.
Yep.
You can do confined space.
Oh, yeah.
Confined space is hazmat in a hole, so we can say hazmat.
Yeah.
But you can't do swift water training, and I've got an idea for that.
All right.
Let's close the bottom doors, fill it up with water. Okay? Open up the doors real quick. Swift water training.
Let's give it a shot.
I'm just saying, don't dismiss me that quickly. Sure, people are going to get hurt, and it's a horrible idea, and you'll probably lose your job. But think about Well, yeah, don't do it now that I've said that. Don't do that stuff. Yeah. So how hard is it to, now I know Chief Dryman and all the stuff that he did to get this. How hard was it just to step in those shoes? Seems like it'd be kind of cool to not have to do all the heavy lifting and just say, all right, I got it.
It's so he was right there for all the building, and he was right there all the way up until we moved in, and then sort of when I stepped in, I think I finished the moving in process. But came with me learning my role, my responsibilities, which was, you have that learning curve. The things that he always protected us from that we didn't have to worry about. Now I've found out about the budgeting, making sure that I'm not looking forward what's happening in 2023 so much. I'm looking at 2024, 2025, the future of our division. So
how many people do you actually have in your division?
I got nine captains, one battalion chief, and one planning manager, civilian.
Okay.
So yeah.
Again, it's an amazing facility, and I think it speaks volumes to how IFD cares about their people.
Right.
All right, Chief Dryman, I got some more questions for you. Was there any time during this whole process, because I've never had to go through this process, that you're like, I wish I didn't start this process. This is so aggravating. This is, you're dealing with all the stuff that you wanted to deal with, finding the right place, finding the right tower, and then all the headaches that come. Surely this wasn't one big smooth transition.
No, it wasn't. Surprisingly, the tower itself was one of the easier parts.
Oh, really?
The first piece of property that we were allocated, for lack of a better term, was the former Citizens Energy plant, our local gas company. Okay, so they used to have coal-fired boilers and things there, and especially something of this significance is never flawless, but it certainly was a pleasure working with him and addressing issues. If we did have an issue, and we could talk to him, and he could say, "Well, that's something we can work on, or we can make do this, do that, to try and get it. If he couldn't make it exactly how we wanted it, he had options for how he could get it as close to what we needed as possible. So that's been, I would say that it's been a pleasure working with him, working with fire facilities in general. I didn't really have a whole lot of interaction with Aaron Adams himself, but up until yesterday when I met him, but very pleased with the product.
Good. I think it's it's an amazing thing, and this video will be up with the other video of the tour, so they can see how awesome it is. Chief Chris, I got another question for you. Just hit me.
Sure.
So I'm the training officer for 5 stations, basically. So the way I do training is I get half the people there in the morning, half at night. How many stations do you have that you have to coordinate training for?
44 on 3 shifts.
How in the world, logistically, how do you get that many people all the same training? Mm-hmm. So let's make it, we're going to say it's a ladder class, just a basic ladder class. How long would it take you to get that ladder class done, to bring everybody down, get the training, and still cover your city?
We work really well. We have a person that in the office that just does scheduling, and we're creative. We have to be creative on that, and we have to maintain areas, especially downtown, that are always going to be covered. Make sure that any other outside incidents, any special ops incidents would be able to be covered. And then we're flexible. If something happens, it's okay. It's not the end of the world. We can always go ahead and say, if we didn't get it done, say Tuesday, we'll look at that next shift, will be Friday, and try to catch up. And we leave room for that.
So it's funny to say that. One of my biggest faults when I first became a training officer, I was not flexible. I thought I was trying to establish some continuity, and I realized quickly things change every day. But I'm like, nope, we're having this training. We're not going to cancel training. And it was a nightmare. And I've, over the years, realized how important flexibility is. Training is important, but you're not diminishing training by being able to move it here and there. But that was funny you mention that. I was so stressed. I'm sure people thought I was the biggest jerk in the world. Like, hey, so-and-so's coming in. Can we move this training another day? Nope. I was that jerk.
Yeah.
But I was trying to keep that continuity. So that's kind of interesting that you said that. It's a great facility. I think what you all do is amazing. This is fantastic. I want to wrap up with saying, Eric Dryman, Hooks and Hoses, one of the best podcasts out there. You got to listen to it. And I'm okay if you listen to it before you listen to mine. Throw mine at the end. That's fine, right? Because I rant and rave, and I don't have a lot of great information. Come on, it's me. But this guy, great information. Brothers, thank you for giving me your time. It means a lot to me, and it's great meeting you.
Night, you too. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, brothers. Welcome back, 3-point firefighter. Well, she was just talking in the middle
That's
of our
it. Cut.
cut.
Take two.
No.
No, you won't. He's got both audio anyway.
Yeah.
Mine's just a backup safety.
Oh,
Yes.
there we
I only got one more. And
Well, can't do it now. She's staring at me. Welcome back to 3-point firefighter. I don't know that I'm going to cut this part out. I like it. So here today at FDIC, this is our second day of doing sort of mini podcast for fire facilities. Sponsor. I'm proud to have them as my sponsor. And then we have Cam today. Now, what does Cam do? Please, Cam, would you tell them about you and what you do here?
yes, so I own a company that does digital.
Hold on a second.
experiences.
Hold on. I'm picking up a faint accent, and I'm pretty good at this. I'm guessing you're from northern Ohio.
Not quite close. North Island of New Zealand.
They're close. On a map, they're like 3 inches away. So, no, I think I'm right. But anyway, I'm sorry. You tell me about what you do.
Yeah, we do digital immersive experiences and e-learning and just digital stuff. We're a digital company, and we're all the way from New Zealand, and we're just so proud and happy that fire facilities liked what we were able to show them and give us a shot, and we've been able to create this immersive experience for them.
Yes, that immersive experience is incredible. I did break it yesterday. That's on me. I apologize. So tell me if I get this right. So the immersive experience, and it's here at the booth at FDIC, is I can, as a firefighter, walk through any one of these buildings that we have, and I could go through doors, up and down stairs. I could do anything I want and be able to see the building before it's even built.
That's correct. That's
So
our purpose.
it's great because what I like about it is you order a training tower, you get it, and then it's like, okay, now I can look and see what I can do with it. I don't have to do that now. I can do it in the immersive experience, and then I can change things. I'm like, that immersive experience, I really didn't think about, I needed wider hallways, or I needed this stair here. So it's a great tool. I mean, it's like cutting edge. Nobody else does this, right?
I don't believe so. We haven't, so not in the fire training facility area, the ability to actually walk around like that. And like you say, and having that customization configuration that you can change. We're going to continue to add to it. It takes a while, but we'll more and more, all the different models will be there. And I believe they can access it. Some through the website, but only clients will get some special access to extra features and unlock and things. But the website will have a easy version for some beginners to have a little look at.
That's neat. And you can also take layers out. So if I just want to see the red iron steel structure, I can take all that other stuff and actually see what's holding up my tower and how durable it is. It's pretty darn cool. Now, what would happen if a firefighter was to climb up on top in the immersive one, the one you designed, went all the way to the top and jumped off? What would happen?
Well, we've made it on this one that you just land softly like a Superman, because I've been told that firefighters are pretty much heroes and
Yeah, we are.
They help society and save, so they just land and they carry on.
Well, now what happened yesterday when I did that?
Yes, you found a little glitch in the matrix and you fell right through the floor.
Yep.
Through the universe. So that happens in game development. So we use an actual game engine to make this. A lot of other places that do 3D stuff, they're using CAD or whatever software. We actually started with a game engine and using it in a very limited way so far. But talking to people like yourself, and they're like, can it do this?
Yeah. So some of the things we were talking about is like, I like to teach 1403 live fire instruction, and we have to do a burn plan, right? You always got to do a burn plan when you do live fire. With this immersive experience, I can literally show people where they're going to be before I even hit the training grounds. I'm like, okay, so the fire control team, you're going to be here, and I can move that firefighter through and show him his position before I do anything else. So I think that is incredible. I see a lot of value in it as a training officer to go, all right, I want to teach moving hoses, right? So, and you're adding on to this now, so I could actually physically take a hose through there and find those pinch points before I even do the training. So it's honestly, I think you guys were just scratching the surface of how awesome this could be for the fire service.
Yeah, no, obviously it's been great to be here for the first launch of it and be able to overhear the conversations and that. And then Aaron or people access it to Cam technically, develop wise. Can you do this? Yeah, well, you think what games can do.
Yeah.
Games can simulate anything. Water, put water on fire, out, hoses kinking, pressure. I mean, a game can simulate anything, but no one's probably gone to the effort to make a really interactive, complex firefighting simulating game. So hopefully we'll be the first. And we're on our way, I guess.
Absolutely. It's really cool. And I wish I was doing this live so you could hear it and come over here and see it. I'm looking at it right now. It's absolutely amazing. It's a game changer. It is a game changer. So how long did it take you to design what we're looking at now? So the one that I actually got to play with and loved, how long did it take you to make
It's taken 5 months.
Now, how many people on that? 4. 4 people, 5 months. Wow. So once you build this, how hard is it going to be to, like, say somebody orders one of these one of these towers, and they say, okay, I want to add an extra floor. I want to make it wider. How hard is it for you to go back into that program and make that specific building form so they can use it?
No, they'll be able to do it themselves.
What?
There'll be a little menu on the side that says how many towers. Do you want gable roof or parapet roof? Do you want, you just click how many windows. You just click it and it changes live in front of you.
Oh, man. Are y'all taking investors in this? Because I got $1,300. I don't want to brag. I'm flexing on how much. Sorry. Almost $1,300. But I'd have to pay you in installments over several months. I don't have it all at once. I mean, but I could probably get that. So I'll give that to you, and then you'll turn that into more money. I guess that's how it works.
Well, yeah, who knows if the value and more goes up? Yeah, the company and what we do. But yeah, I mean, this is great. This is our first, American client. We really, they've been great to us looking after them. So we're just looking forward to working more and more, doing more and more as the ideas come through. We're just, long-term relationships, what we're looking for. And I know fire facilities and them are looking at it the same way. It's more like a partnership. Let's build this together. Partnership with all the firefighters and departments and clients. What do they need? Hear from you guys first. And trainers are number one.
Well, the beauty of this company too is, and one of the reasons I love it so much is Aaron is a firefighter. I know he's the president. Every time I talk to the guy, I don't see him as some corporate guy. Talking to a brother, and we talk about fire stuff. And then you got John Schaaf, who also is a brother firefighter. So all this stuff really is that's why I like it. It's by firefighters for firefighters. And now you got this new, 3D immersive experience, and they know what to tell you. They're not just saying, hey, we should talk to firefighters. They're like, oh, yeah, here's what we need to do because we've done it. So it's pretty awesome, man. I can't wait to see this evolve and what it's going to turn into.
Well, the other thing we realized too is the ongoing maintenance and ordering parts for the towers. That immersive thing, you can click on the different parts. You either need to, how do I maintain it? Video picks up how to, or this part I need to replace a panel or a door. You can click it and give you the part number in that. So when you guys ring up fire facilities or whatever, say, it's part number 4382. I need 2 of them. It's just efficient for everyone involved. Instead of, the silver thing up the toppy thingy near the corner thing.
The silver thing on the toppy thing?
So that so it removes that too. So it's post care, I guess, post offering, not just the pre or the planning, the color selection, all that we're going to build in there. So you get the color combos that people might want. Not sure they think they want cream with white doors, so you can just choose all that. But yeah,
that's awesome because per 1403, which is our standard, we have to inspect that building. There's a series of inspections. So like you got to do it once a year. You got to do it before you use it, and then from there, 5 years and 10 years. So what's really nice about that is you do your annual one. If you find something you need to replace, click on what you said and boom, there's that silver thingy. Here's how to get it. Boom. That's great, man. That's awesome. That is very pro fire department. And that's really honestly pro fire instructor because our jobs are tough enough. And if our jobs can be made a little bit easier while we can just focus on the training, that's a winner.
Also works on mobile, which we haven't even talked about. So while they're actually there, they could be finding those parts. They can, hey guys, come over here. Yesterday, this was the training plan, and it can sit there. And you can have it staying the plan. This is what we did, everyone. Are you guys ready? Refreshed. So it works on mobile, any tablet, in the field, in the classroom, at home, night before.
That $1,300, you're going to turn that into almost $1,500. I can smell it. I'm going to be loaded. I don't know what I'm going to do with all that.
Made it.
I don't want to get too rich because then there's that whole tax bracket. That's why I don't play the lottery. Probably win it, and then I got to pay more taxes. I don't like that. So before we go, I ask one thing. You said earlier how you love our country a million times better than your country and all that. Now, was that you that said that? Is that true?
I didn't, but I definitely am a fan. I'm loving being over here. So I'm loving any moment I can to come back and stay here as long as I can. So thank you guys for hosting me and having me on today.
Thanks for everything you do, man.
Audio sync, clap one.
That is so cool.
It is.
It's cool. I feel fancy.
Like we're doing something.
We're doing something important.
Yeah.
So we're back at we're wrapping up our 3-point firefighter facility. Let's try that again. So we're wrapping up our last day of FDIC for me up here doing my interviews for fire facilities. So I like to end it with my friend Aaron Adams, who's the president, and we're going to just kind of talk about what we've been seeing this week and what's going on. So, brother, thanks for being back on.
Man, thank you so much for having me. I appreciate you being here.
What? No, hey, I love it. I'm so glad that you're more mobile today than Dave Mellin was. That hot wing challenge, you took it like a champion, brother.
That's a labor of love right there, right?
I saw you double dipping and doing all, man, you weren't playing no games.
Yeah, well, I still nose ran and everything, but I didn't cry like I, was afraid I was going to. So
Yes.
I got that.
Yeah, Dave was sweating a little bit.
I think Dave cried.
He might have had a little bit. And he did when he was on here. He said that there was some issues with I don't want to. He had toilet issues. Yeah, they had to turn on an emergency auger down at the plant and get people out in the with pickaxes and stuff. So I'm glad that you did way better.
Public Works needs shout outs sometimes.
You're helping the economy the way I see it. Now that was really fun to watch. You took it like a champion. So how's it been going this FDIC?
I have been blown away with seeing this thing come back down, or actually we're past the old normal. I believe it feels to me like they've gone past what the high level was in 2019 for attendance. I can feel it in our booth. I can hear it in the murmur, out there on the show floor, and it's been great. A lot of good quality contacts and conversations. I love hearing. Obviously, it's a training conference, right? The premier training conference in the country, and we're seeing the premier individuals that are hard charging, dialed in, intelligent, want to make plans, want to budget long term, want to keep their crews active and going. And I love getting feedback, even from old customers that show up and say, hey, we've had this building for 20 years. It's never been out of service,
That's true. And I'll tell you another thing, and I've burned in a lot of these places, and I said this earlier, where I'll go in and I'll look around. I'm like, oh, it's fire facilities, blah, blah. And I'll go, man, what is this, 5 years old, 6 years old? Oh, no, it's 20 years old. I'm like, what?
Yeah, that's cool.
They last flipping forever. They are, again, I say this all the time. You're a firefighter, your brother, right? John Schaff, brother firefighter. It's made by firefighters for firefighters. You guys are doing exactly what we need, right? As an instructor, we need this stuff. We need durability because for us, it's so hard to get the funds to get our tower.
Yeah.
Well, if we do get that, we need to make sure that it's going to last.
Right.
These things last like crazy.
Yes.
American Steel.
Yep.
Go America.
That's right.
Now, I had my brother Steve McGean in here. He's from Canada. And I had to tell him, American Steel obviously is better than Canadian Steel, right? I mean, that's why we brag on it. So he might have disagreed with me a little bit, but nevertheless.
It works up in Canada too, though.
It does. So you're now, it looks like you guys might be building one up near the Arctic Circle.
I hope so. It sounds like it's pretty positive. I thank you for letting us get out to Indianapolis Training Ground, their academy, which is astounding.
Oh my gosh.
If you, as a firefighter, if you've never been to the Indianapolis Fire Training Academy, you've got to get there and see all that they have taken into consideration with regards to that training ground. It is absolutely. We're honored to be the kind of one of the main focal points of that.
Yep.
Our tower there is just they've done a phenomenal job designing everything into that tower that they're going to see out in the street.
You know, which is
They
just
made
so,
a huge commitment to their personnel. You know, they bought that tower, and it's huge. And they were able to make their changes.
Yep.
That's an investment in your people and in your safety. When you build something like that, when you get a tower, you know, like again, I was a lieutenant fan forever, and now the commissioner model is starting to be my favorite. But you really are. You're truly making a commitment into your brothers and sisters, and you're saying, I care. I care about your safety. I care about the community. Here's a quality training structure, and it's going to last. Period. End of story. Now, I know we also it's not just civilian stuff. You do a lot with the military.
Yes.
Build a lot of their towers. So, having been, hate to say, hero, but obviously I am a hero.
everybody knows.
Everybody knows.
Everybody knows.
It's a weird flex, but I served in the Air Force as a firefighter. I had so many medals on my chest, I couldn't literally get my. Okay, what are you laughing at? She's laughing.
And you can't get through metal detectors.
And you can't get through metal.
Yes. It's almost embarrassing.
It is embarrassing. I do this job because I want to help people.
Yes.
The medals are nice and all that, but it's not about it.
It's not.
But no, you have this. Having been in the military and the civilian world, when it comes to training, they're two different animals. They really are. So what is different, do you think, that some of your military training towers need versus just a regular civilian?
I think the biggest difference is, what's that saying with the fire service?
Don't date your best friend's wife.
No, well, that's one of them.
Okay.
Whatever, generations of tradition impeded.
Unimpeded by progress.
Unimpeded by progress, yeah. The military can kind of have that too, except for they also really understand the advancements in technology. I mean, you look at a stealth bomber, that's 40-year-old technology, and still people think that that's kind of the cutting edge.
Wow, I didn't thought about that.
Yeah. But there's crazy stuff out there floating around.
There's got to be.
that's more advanced than that.
Right.
So they're also very dialed into the science, very dialed into the low maintenance, keep it in service, keep it going, keep it available for people, right? And we're on over 50 military bases, which is amazing. Yeah, we're in 90 different countries. It's really cool. We've had a really nice, expansive run in this trade of building training facilities. And one of the unique factors in the military is they cross-train a lot. Mm-hmm. So you don't necessarily have just a dedicated fire training building. You may have a tactical combination building where they're doing simulation or something else in there where they're actually running through scenarios of breaching. We have shotgun breach doors we put in there.
Oh, that's
besides the regular forcible entry. Yeah, it's explosive doors.
That's the kind of forcible entry I want. You keep your irons. Give me a shotgun. Get that door open.
The other cool part, because we're red iron superstructure, right? We can build in any environment. We've got a military base that we're looking to get squared away right now that is looking for 190 mile an hour straight line wind load with a seismic load higher than what you see in California, which is crazy. And they want it to be 8 stories tall with a sniper tower and burn rooms, right? So that's
I'm
the kind of
flush. Stop it.
That's the kind of thing that I love to see. We can accommodate all of that. It's really cool to work with the engineers that we have on staff, work with our salespeople out in the field that understand the needs of the military, that understand that there's cross training that goes on. Cross contamination, if you will, from the tactical and fire side of it. And these buildings are so diverse, so durable that they can be put in service and utilized for basically whatever your mind can dream up when it comes to keeping something like this up and running and
looking good. I mean,
and looking good.
And it looks good too. And so I started thinking about this, and one of the ones that I really like is 30 years old. It was down in Sierra Vista. Again, shout out Caleb Mozzie. We trained down there, 1403, and it looked great. And he's one to tell me how old it was. And then he said, "Yeah, I think we're going to add on to it." And so I'm like, "Wow, that's pretty amazing." So two points I want to make. One, it's in the desert. It's in the desert, and it was doing just fine. And hopefully you'll build one up near the Arctic Circle. But that's not the first structure you're going to be building that have built up where it's super cold. Different elevations, different temperatures. These you consider, and then talked about seismic and all that. You consider all that stuff. Yeah. You're with the people that are trying to get this and investing in their people. You're not trying to say, "Hey, let's build a shitty structure so it falls in 10 years."
Let's hope it lasts.
Yeah. No. Yours is like this. We're gonna build you what you need, and it's going to last.
And now we're to the point where we're not just like thinking that it might. You know, the first towers that we shipped out the door are still in service training today, 32 years later, right?
You know what's funny about
Super
that?
cool.
This is what blows my mind about that. I've gone to places and I've worked at places where after about 15 years, after about 5 or 6 years, parts of that tower you can't really use anymore, right? Or after about 10 years, it's completely done. And then they're like, okay, we got to tear it down and think about getting a new one. So that's just not the case with our facilities. You guys are in for the long run. And that's still.
Oh,
It just looks cool. No, I'm sorry. This looks cool.
it makes all of it. This is modern building technology, right? So using modern building materials that has, you know, a tensile strength. It's off the charts.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's why we can use it in any environment. That's why it holds up. That's why if you run into it with a ladder truck or something, you can just replace a panel and you're not cracking the wall. And having
We will do
structural
that
issue.
too.
I know it happens. It absolutely happens.
You know, we can screw up an anvil. No, what was the old joke about three
steel ball theory?
Yes.
Yeah.
Please tell us that.
Lock a fireman or lock a candidate in a room and with 3 steel balls, giving them an hour. No windows, no doors. If they've lost one, broken one, and eaten one within an hour, you know they're the right to be a fireman. That's
exactly
true.
it.
But we have to train.
Yeah.
Right. The real world's hard, and you have to be able to go in and work how you need to work, and be able to do it the next shift day too, and then the next shift day. Right. And when you have crews that are motivated to train, your building has to be in service to do it. And so, like when I talked about the beginning of this, West Texas celebrating 20 years. That's an innovative thing that we developed for the fire service for a lighter system. So that, you know, heat is a catalyst breakdown with anything.
Right.
And the temperatures at which these rooms burn is off the charts. These, you know, buildings weren't meant to be set on fire 30, 40,000 times.
Right.
So we developed this West Tech system, one, to be low maintenance, cost effective, and in service. So, and it's accomplished all of those things. It's the coolest thing to hear is you can do 3 days of training back to back with, you know, red shift, black shift, gold shift, or whatever shift colors you use.
Right.
And that building is ready to go every single day. Right. You know, it's just, and for years. I love it.
What about the warranty? This part that kills me.
Me too.
Kills me.
Me too. Unprecedented in our industry. 15 years, non-prorated. We've had the industry respond with some 15-year warranties, but they're all prorated. You know, and you know, for us, we know this is going to hold up. We've got a track record of over 20 years that it's going to. We've got 700 structures out there with West Tech systems in them, but with multiple burn rooms. So over 1,000 burn rooms that have been in service, you know, over those 20 years.
They last.
And they last.
Well, let me ask you this. By the way, this is what I found, that I say things in my podcast over and over, and I just did it. Let me ask you this. It's a drinking game now, so whenever you hear a podcast, and I say, let me ask you this, you got to take a shot. So as a training officer, and like in my department, I don't have a gigantic budget.
Sure.
So let's assume I was lucky enough to have it. But let's assume I could. If I had to change a West Tech panel, how hard would that be?
Oh, it's easy. I mean, it's zip screwed in steel panel. Undo the screws, pop the steel panel off, ceramic blanket, replace it. We have your Marionite board or calcium silicate board as batten system. Again, that system allows for almost no heat transfer to the outside of the building.
That is so
you
cool.
know, which is really
like some space shuttle stuff there.
It's awesome. It's like re-entry.
Yeah, come right
from the inside out though.
Yeah,
so we do it the other way.
One of the things I've
it's
noticed
super easy. Well, that's the other talking about, you know, budget, which is very
yes.
important. The maintenance budget that you have to put at these buildings, any aspect of these buildings, is virtually none. You know, that's the best part. Like there's because of the steel being so resilient to the elements and the training evolutions.
Right.
The maintenance on the burn room, the maintenance on the exterior is virtually nil. So you're not having to budget to replace calcium silicate boards, which is still sort of the industry standard. Right. Even some of the concrete blocks that are out there, fabrications thereof, they still have maintenance to them. You know, they still have to be replaced here or there as they.
And if it's gas for 1403, they have to every 5 years. If it's gas, and every 10 years. No, 5 years for Class A, 10 years for Class B.
Right.
So if they're doing that, it'll be so much easier for them to access that, do all that. Because absolutely. So mine, I'm not bashing on mine. Also not naming who made it. They got so many screws in the metal. It would take all day to get for one panel. And then our panels, when we do Class A burns, they just warp. They just warp. They don't, and it's not just mine. I've seen that in a bunch of places. Now, that might be one of the best things. My first time I dealt with a fire facilities building was afterwards, how the room looked when we were done. I can't remember what it was, somewhere in Washington. And that's when I really started taking note. I'm like, who makes this? Those fire facilities. And then I started getting more and more, and I could tell a huge difference. Once I started looking, if you look at a fire facilities burn room after it's done, and any other brand, you won't be able to tell there was a fire in fire facilities, honestly. You'll be able to tell in the others, right? Steve was telling me, we looked at one, and he said, if you look at the panels where they've been burning, he goes, it was patina, but there was no other indication there was a live fire. There's a little bit of burn, a little bit of patina. I'm like, there's quality stuff, man. And for instructors and small departments, the average fire department in America is 5 stations. That's me. This fits my budget.
I'm surprised it's 5 in the average. I would think it'd be smaller.
It might be, but I like to think that we're average.
You're above average. Come on.
Above average. Above average. I love the thing. Again, I say this. My favorite thing is I love working with you because you're firefighter. When I talk to you, I'm talking to a firefighter. I'm not talking to some president of a business. You don't come off that. You're just like, hey, bro and brother, and you know what we could talk VES, we could talk pulling lines, we could do all that stuff. That goes right into your buildings. Yeah. You're not gonna like some guy's not gonna come and stump you. I'm like, well, Mr. President, what if I wanted to do you know about DES? Oh yeah, you can do the windows right there, you can do all that. That's great, man.
That's fire service has been a passion of mine. As since I've been a kid, right. I was very lucky to land in a career fire department and retire from there, and then bring that experience into this world too. So I get to still stay in the world, as we've talked about in the past. This people that are involved in the fire service are a different breed. They're just a different kind of cat that's out there, right? So to be able to work professionally with with the organizations that are affiliated with the fire service and the human beings, couldn't be lucky. Get the feedback. I had a gentleman stop by this morning, 40-year veteran of our fire department. Stopped by and talked about, he's been in our buildings in the past, loves them, went out to Indianapolis, really, really enjoyed it. And he said, hey, do you guys ever take feedback on, some like ideas? Just did a hose evolution training out there. I have ideas that maybe you guys can incorporate.
I know what your answer was.
Of course.
Yes.
Please.
Yes.
Here's my information. Please. Absolutely. Consult with us. Tell us give us your expertise. Give us your 40 years of knowledge.
I've heard you say to people, tell me bad stuff if you want. Tell me bad stuff.
I love that. Negative feedback's how you grow.
Right.
I mean, that's hopefully we don't get too much, but when it's out there, we because we have the personnel we have at this company, the engineers that we have at this company, the manufacturing that we have here, we can adapt to it. It's just the coolest thing in the world that people bring stuff up and you can say yes.
Oh yeah. I like to bring up all the little things too. Like when I was in the removable panels, just having them hit that floor as opposed to being in a rail system, that's a big deal. It's small, but it shows, proves that facilities knows what we need, listens to what we need, puts it into play. So I love that. It's a bunch of stuff like that. Ultimately, look, if you're out there and you're listening, you're thinking, you know what? I want a training tower, but I don't care about my people. I don't care about my community. And I want to spend way too much money consistently trying to repair that tower. Our facilities may not be for you, but would I be wrong if I said, if you care about your firefighters, you care about your community, you don't want to have exorbitant maintaining fees, and you want something that's going to last and be great for your department, maybe fire facilities. Would that be right?
I'd say for sure. Fire facilities. That would be the way to go. Yes.
Brother, what else are we going to talk about here? What else do you want to? Can we talk about? I just got a Sean Duffy kiss.
Brother. You know what? I don't know if I should feel weird that you knew just by feel. I didn't. Just by feel, he knew who that was. I don't know if I should feel weird about that.
What?
Yeah. Just by feel, you didn't even see him.
No, I can sense.
Oh,
yeah, can't you sense the sexiness?
Only by feel.
He kissed, and that's Sean Duffy.
That's experience right there.
My man. Holy cow.
Honestly, I think we've covered a lot of good points.
Is it okay if I sum up a little bit? So, as a fire instructor, live fire instructor, I'm going to repeat a few things that I want my brothers and sisters to know. One, made by firefighters for firefighters. Generally, 100%. One-stop shop, in-house engineers. You make one phone call, and they're not going to say, well, you got to call this person, call this. They're going to say, we got you. Yep. Completely scalable to your needs. Yep. That blows me away. I mean, you get all these models, but they're starting points. And just honestly good people that care about brother and sister firefighters.
It's all true.
Is that fair? It is. It is. I've known you for a couple of years. You're not full of shit at all. I've heard you talk to people. I know how much you care. I see it. And like I said, when you say, give me bad feedback, we want to make this better.
Yes.
That's all I need to hear, brother. Yeah. Thank you so much. Hey, thanks for having me up this week. This has been an amazing week for me. And you know I love fire facilities. I'll get a tattoo next time. I'll get a tattoo on air, right? But it has to be on my butt. Cam, are you going to film it? Next year.
You're up in the Mellin Challenge, man. Holy cow.
I will do the fire facilities logo on my upper buttocks live here, right? We just got to get at this.
That's
When you care, you care.
Yeah, that's true.
When you care, you care, Cam. I'm just saying. All right, brother. Listen, I know you're busy. Thank you so much for your time. Thanks for letting me be up here. This is a high point in my year.
Love it, man. Thank you so much. Appreciate you.
Thanks. Yeah, we're going to do this. We're going to get tattoos. Our podcast today was sponsored by Fire Facilities. This Made in America company is dedicated to constructing top quality custom training structures to meet your needs. Make your training count with all steel structures that are made to last. Visit firefacilities.com for more details.